Hello, everybody. This is Chris Ward, just one of thousands of LegalShield associates coming to you from my home in Golden, Colorado. And before we jump into this full LegalShield corporate overview, I want to share with you a little bit about who I am, who you're hearing from today. My background was U.S. Army. I served proudly for 11 years and decided to get out. And not unlike everybody probably watching this right now, you've been at a transition point in your life, whether you were transitioning from high school into college, college into corporate America. Perhaps you went from high school into the workforce. But sometimes those transitional periods could be scary. And the same was for me. I was getting out of the military after 11 years, decided to follow a childhood dream of mine, which was to start a video production company. And I did so in January 2007, having no formal education in actually how to run a business. I was passionate about this thing, but kind of learning as I went. But I had enough sense to hire the right people for the right jobs. So my partners and I, we hired a graphic design artist to design our logo and build out our website. We had an accountant for our bookkeeping. We had an office manager to manage our day-to-day operations, and we even hired an attorney. So before we even started making money, we knew we had to prepare some legal documents for our future clients, so we put down a $10,000 retainer on an attorney who charged $400 an hour. But we were naive, having never really used an attorney before. I thought that this investment in our business would last us for years until we started using him. We had him draft a contract for one of our initial clients, and I get an invoice in the mail for over $1,500 and immediately slammed my foot on the brakes and found myself doing what even the American Bar Association says that over 85% of Americans are doing today as it regards legal services. I was Google searching legal questions. I was downloading boilerplate legal forms. I was asking colleagues for legal advice. And it wasn't until 8 months into my business before a gentleman introduced me and my partners to LegalShield, not just for our company, but for us personally, and shared with us an opportunity that if we were to refer these services to other people, we could generate some additional revenue. And I signed up that night. It was August 21st, 2007. I celebrated every year just like I celebrate my birthday. But I'm going to stop talking about myself. I'm going to come here to share with you what you came to look at, and that is how this is undeniably the opportunity of the 21st century. So let's get started. Now, unless you've lived under a rock, you probably recognize the world really has changed forever, and a lot of people in a difficult economy are looking for opportunities to generate additional revenue, part-time, full-time, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. So you kind of look, what opportunity one really aligns with what you're passionate about. Two, provides you the flexibility to be able to still work your 9 to 5 job, and the flexibility to be able to do things with your family and friends as well. And I think that the overall arching theme that everybody's looking for is independence, and primarily financial independence. That's getting to choose what you want to do, when you want to do it, with who you want to do it. And I think in uncertain economic times, it definitely makes sense to have a backup plan. Well, the question you have to ask for is what needs to what constitutes a good opportunity? And I really think you have to have these three things in place. As one is an opportunity's got to be backed by a company with outstanding products and services uh, that you can generate revenue from. You want to have a system in place. As much as I absolutely love the startup community, I recognize that the majority of startups fail within their first few years because they don't have a proven system of success. The next thing is you want to make sure that you have a community around you, leaders, mentors, big thinkers that are helping show you the way. Now, the other thing you have to ask for is what kind of income are you looking for? There's three major forms of income. The one that most people are familiar with is linear income. That's trading time for money, clocking in at 9, clocking out at 5. Uh, or perhaps you are self-employed and you bring some sort of product or service to the market. When you sell that product or service, you get paid. When you're not selling that product or service, you're not getting paid. That's still linear income. Then there's leveraged income, and this is where it gives you an opportunity to work with a team. And business owners with employees understand this because they're leveraging the efforts of others to generate revenue for the company. Brokers and insurance, real estate and finance get this because they recruit agents into their organization. And when their agents go out and make a sale, they get a little override from that. This is why so many professionals are taking a serious look at the insurance and financial industries today. Then there's residual income. And this is where you've sold a product once, but keep generating revenue off the continued use of that product. It's subscription based income. And I'm really excited to say that LegalShield offers all three of these and more. Now, anytime you take a look at an opportunity, there's 5 areas you want to evaluate. First, the company itself. You want to make sure that it's rock solid, not a business that started yesterday. It could be out of business tomorrow. You also want to take a look at the product. You want to make sure that the product or service you're bringing to market is standalone, that it's not something you could just go anywhere and get, which leads us to the need. You want to make sure that you're fulfilling a real need in your community. You want to make sure the compensation works for you. And then the most important paragraph you want to look at anytime you're evaluating a business opportunity is the timing. And it's said that the T in timing is more important than the T in talent. You only have to be in the right place once in order to be wildly successful. So to talk about our company, I have to go back to 1969, where our founder, Harlan Stonecipher, was in an automobile accident. It's important to distinguish. He was a teacher during the day, and then he sold insurance part-time to supplement his income. So insurance products made sense to him. And, you know, at this time of this accident in 1969, he had his automobile insurance coverage, which helped him because his vehicle was totaled. He was hospitalized. He and the other party were hospitalized. Fortunately, he had his medical insurance in place to cover his medical bills. I think all of us on this Zoom should be grateful that he didn't have to use his life insurance policy. But the one area of life he was not prepared for was that although he was not responsible for the accident, the other party was cited at the scene. The other party turned around and sued Mr. Stonecipher. Now, I hope we all understand that if you're ever named in a civil suit, you have to defend yourself or else you'll lose by default. So he hires an attorney, he goes to court, he wins in court. But as he's walking out, he asked himself, did I really win? Because he had spent what little savings he had to hire an attorney in his own legal defense. And he thought to himself, why isn't there some sort of a legal service plan available for when legal situations arise? 1969, it simply did not exist. So by 1972, he had founded Prepaid Legal Services Incorporated in Ada, Oklahoma. And I'm excited to say that after 53 years, we're currently protecting over 4.5 million lives in all 50 US states and 5 Canadian provinces. Here's a snapshot of our home office located in Ada, Oklahoma. It houses over 700 employees. And our vision is simple, is to provide equal access to liberty, equality, opportunity, and justice that every human deserves. Now, I've been with the company over 18 years now, so I'm going to say some great things about the company, but you don't have to take my word for it. I could wallpaper your house with a number of third-party financial periodicals that speak very highly about what we're doing in the community. As a matter of fact, the last several years, Forbes Advisor has recognized LegalShield as the #1 best legal service plan available on the market today. Now, you don't have to be a marketing genius to recognize disruptive innovation. Companies are making accessing products and services simpler, easier, and more affordable. Just take a look at how your shopping experience has changed over the last couple of decades. All of us remember a time of actually having to get in the car, drive to the store, deal with parking and crowds, just in hope that the product you're looking for is even still on the shelf. Well, what's changed? And the majority of people right now make most of their purchases online where they're not getting in their car. What about the music industry? What has changed there? Well, I'm a big fan of vinyl records and CDs and such, but that is an antiquated technology. The majority of people will pay a monthly subscription to have access to all music. Well, what if we were to apply the same simplicity and ease to the justice system? Well, that's exactly what LegalShield's done, is providing you access to a reputable law firm in your state or province for a low month-to-month subscription. Now, just to ask yourself this, I just want you to think back on this year alone. How many times have these situations arisen where you could have used an attorney, but you didn't think to, either because you weren't sure that your situation was legal in nature, or you thought that an attorney would cost too much? What about updated your estate planning devices? Has any of your situation changes? Have you got married in the last year? Have you got divorced in the last year? Have you had children in the last year? Have you bought a home? Have you moved out of state? These are all conditions for which you would need to update your estate planning devices. What about been notified by a company that your non-public information has been compromised? Have you felt, and just in this last year, I'm not talking about your whole life, in this last year, have you felt like you've been taken advantage of or treated unfairly by a company, by a neighbor, by a boss? What about have you signed any contracts or documents just in the last 12 months, that you did not read nor fully understand? Or did you click accept on the terms and conditions on a website without actually reading the terms and conditions? Have you received a traffic ticket? Have you had an insurance claim denied? Have you had any questions about your credit score? Have you bought a defective product and wondering what your rights were? These are everyday life events, legal situations that the majority of Americans either try to handle themselves or sweep it under the rug. And I would ask, why not join the collective buying power of millions and pay by the month, not by the hour? Now, the person that invited you to take a look at this Zoom will hopefully share with you a link so you can download the LegalShield mobile app and have it in your phone right away and enroll. And make sure you get it from the person that sent you this video so they get credit for the referral. Now, I'm gonna I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. This price point for our plan and everything I'm gonna cover is only $37.95 month to month, no contractual obligation. Now, who's covered under this plan? Well, it's not just you, the member, but your spouse or significant other, any never married dependent children in the household up to the age of 26, any dependent children up to the age of 18 who are in your household, and physically or mentally challenged children are covered for life in this household. Now, you know the price point, but I want you to imagine the value. So let's just say you are an attorney, right? And I call you and ask you to provide me with a suite of services, but as opposed to you charging me some lofty $10,000 retainer fee or high $400 an hour rate, I want you to charge me on a month to month basis. But here's what I want you to provide. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I want to be able to call your office. I want to be able to get a call back within one business day. And then when I'm on the phone with an attorney that specializes in any particular area of law, I want to be able to stay on the phone with the attorney until I fully understand what my legal rights are in that particular situation. How much would you, as my law firm, have to charge me just to be available to me Monday through Friday, 9 to 5? Probably be a little bit more than $37.95 a month, right? And if legal advice was the only thing that we did, it would still be worth more than the price point we actually ask. But sometimes you might need a little extra legal muscle. So, in the event that I'm taken advantage of or treated unfairly, and you, as my attorney, feel that the best course of action would be to write a letter or make a phone call on my behalf, I want you to do that for me on an unlimited number of subject matters. And I'll give you an example. Last year I had received a bill on the door. It was only $30 because the city had said that I had not shoveled my sidewalks. Well, it was ridiculous because the same day I got that bill, there was no snow. It had already all melted away. So I took some photographs of the sidewalk, contacted the provider law firm, shared with them my situation. They had me scan over a copy of that ticket. Upon receipt of that, the law firm wrote a letter to the city asking for evidence to suggest that I had in excess of 1 inch of snow on my sidewalk, which was what the city ordinance was about. Remarkably, the city did not take photographs of the snow on my sidewalk, and the city had just told me to throw out the ticket, that it was null and void. Now, this was a $30 ticket. Never before LegalShield would I have thought to call a law firm on a $30 issue. Why? Because it would cost more to get an attorney to take action on my behalf than it would to just pay the bill. How many nickel and dime situations do we just pay off to get rid of it without actually finding out what our legal rights are? Now, before I sign any contracts or documents, so whether it's a rental agreement, if I'm buying a car, if it's an insurance form, I want to be able to review those documents at least up to 25 pages in length. This includes my residential loan document review and my tenant lease agreement, all again covered by this plan. Beyond that, I'd mentioned estate planning before. I want you to prepare me a comprehensive will to include my healthcare and financial powers of attorney in that will. And I want you to update that every single year at no additional fee. The other thing is I want you to provide me with traffic ticket assistance. So in the event of a moving traffic violation, I want to be able to review those tickets just to let me know what my legal rights are in those particular situations. Now, as a continuous member, 180 days of continuous membership, I want these included in my plan at no additional cost. That's uncontested name change, adoption, separation, or prenuptial or postnuptial agreement, or uncontested divorce. Again, no additional cost other than what we've already agreed to on this monthly basis. Now, my favorite of all the bells and whistles falls on our 24/7 emergency access. So included in our membership, 24 hours a day in the event of a legal emergency, meaning I'm being questioned, detained, or arrested, or served with a warrant, I want to be able to have my attorney on the phone within minutes in order to make sure that my constitutional rights are protected. Again, all for $37.95 month to month. That's absolutely a no-brainer. Now, our second flagship products are IDShield. I'm not going to take a lot of time explaining identity theft to you, but I think a lot of people, when I bring up identity theft, they still think about their checking account or their credit cards and talk about bank fraud or credit fraud. And that is still a small fraction of the monster that is identity theft. So it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. So as a member of IDShield, we're monitoring every area of your life that's important to you. Your social security numbers, passports, driver's license, medical insurance information, your emails. We'll actually do social media monitoring. We offer a reputation management system to let you know in the event that someone tags you in a photograph or video that can be compromising to your character. Yes, it may be you, but it may not be something you want on the internet anymore. You can notify them and they can help you with getting that removed. Now, what makes IDShield? There's two things that really make IDShield the 800-pound gorilla in the world of identity theft protection services. One is that we offer full service restoration. So when you are a victim of identity theft, you contact IDShield, they will assign you a licensed private investigator who will work with you or as you under a limited power of attorney and do whatever it takes for as long as it takes to restore your identity back to pre-theft status. We also offer a $3 million identity fraud protection plan, which will cover you for identity fraud expenses and legal costs resulting from a covered identity fraud event. Now we have two different plans when it comes to IDShield. We have the individual plan, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's just you. It's only $19.95 a month. Then there's our family plan at $34.95 per month. So that will cover not just you, the member, but your spouse and any of your children in the household up to the age of 18. Once they're a legal adult, 18 and over, they will need to have their own IDShield plan. Now, when you combine those two plans together, you're looking at a total of $72.90 month to month, no contractual obligation. And I get it. I talk to people and they say, well, I don't really have a lot of legal issues. I don't have a lot of identity theft issues. And we get that. Well, we have an additional benefit at no additional cost called Member Perks. You remember me telling you that we had over 4.5 million lives covered across the United States and Canada? Well, that bulk buying power gives our company the ability to negotiate significant discounts with companies where you're already spending your money. So if you have any holiday shopping coming up, you can get significant discounts through a lot of different online retailers. Have any travel plans? You can get discounts on flights, hotels, and car rentals. Everybody's got a mobile device probably within arm's reach right now if you're not watching this video on your phone. Well, we have significant discounts through all major cell phone providers as well. What I want to get to is that our members who participate in Member Perks actually save more money on a monthly basis than what they're actually spending on their legal and identity theft plan. So yeah, there's a cost to being a member of LegalShield and IDShield, but I would submit to you there's a far greater cost not being a member. What a lot of marketing companies are finding is that the most effective way of promoting a product or service is by word of mouth or referral marketing. And we see it all the time, even if we don't put a name to it. Companies are offering products and services at a discount in most cases, or offering some free gift as a way to garner new business. And we have tens of thousands of examples of people whose lives have been positively impacted because their legal and identity theft plans were already in place. And this creates a great referral opportunity. And so Legal Shield for the last 52 years has built a business model around referral marketing where you, as a happy member, when you share your story with somebody else and they sign up, you can get paid cash, direct deposit into your account 24 hours after that membership processes. How much, you may ask? Let me show you. We have several different ways we get paid. One is when you enroll new members. You can earn anywhere between $80 to $416 every time you protect a new family. We also offer leveraged income where you could build a team and earn income on memberships that they enroll. I'd also mentioned before the residual income. You can get paid 10% of commissions again on month 13 through the lifetime of the membership. And we also have opportunities for other bonuses and incentives that I'll talk about here shortly. Now, I wanted to break down the numbers, but don't get upset if you don't get it right away. I had to look at this a half a dozen times before I figured it out. But when you, as a brand new referral partner, what we call an associate, get started, as I mentioned, you can earn anywhere from $80 up to $416. Now, the more families that you protect, the more income you're going to earn. But how long is that going to take, though? Well, just by going out and protecting 3 individuals or families with our legal and or identity theft plan, and one becomes an associate, you're now promoted to the senior associate position, meaning is the next family who signs up, you're going to get a commission of $100 on. Go out, protect a few more families, find 2 additional associates, you're now at the manager level, meaning the next family who signs up, you're getting paid $132 on. Now, I want to let you know, we're not looking for employees. We're looking for business partners. So there's not going to be a sales manager breathing down your neck, and there's no quotas to fill, but our company loves to reward speed and consistency. So if you go out there and hit that senior associate position within your first 20 days, the company's going to give you a $200 bonus on top of your commissions. Go out and hit manager within your first 45 days, the company's going to give you an additional $500 on top of that. Let me do simple math for you. You, as a brand new associate, go out and protect 5 families with our legal and identity theft plan. 3 of them become associates, and you've generated well over $1,000. And it doesn't take 45 days. You could do that in 4 to 5 days, leveraging the tools and systems that we have. And you don't have to recruit anybody. You can go out and just protect individuals and families. We have 3 major ways we take our services to market. One is our direct to consumer, where you're just offering individuals and families these legal plans. We also have a very robust business owner legal service plan. So we have associates that work in the business to business arena. Commissions are a little bit higher because the premium's a little bit higher. Then we have associates that talk to those same business owners about protecting their employees. So you could exponentially grow these numbers depending on how many employees in the room participate. But I think it's safe to say that if you're watching this video, you'd like to quit working someday. You just don't want the income to stop. Well, you've got to have leveraged income in your life. And that manifests here through our team overrides, where when you find somebody that'll go sell Legal Shield, you could earn an override anywhere from $20 up to $336 every time someone you market this opportunity to goes out and makes a sale. So let me just give you an example of that. Let's just say Joe Smith. Joe Smith is an executive director. Joe Smith sells me the 7290 plan. Joe gets $416. Well, I find that out and I say, hey, Joe, I want to do what you're doing. So I become an associate. I turn around, I sell my friends a legal and identity theft plan. I make $80. But because Joe introduced me to the opportunity, Joe's going to get an override of $336. In that example alone, if Joe just had 10 associates selling one 7290 plan in a single month, that'd be over $3,000 in overrides. And that doesn't even include what he earned by selling each of us a plan. Now, when I looked at this, I was like, these commissions are amazing. But the real reason I got excited about it was the long-term residual income. You see, all of these numbers here are based on a different commission level or different percentage of your annualized premium, meaning that you're getting paid 12 months in advance. So on that 13th, 14th, 15th month, year after year, for the lifetime of the membership. Remember, I've been a member for 18 years. For the lifetime of the membership, you're going to continue to earn 10% of the monthly premium on not just all the memberships that you sell, but all the memberships that your organization sold for the, again, the lifetime of the membership. So imagine what that would look like compounded after 5, 10, 15, 20 years. It's amazing. Now, we also have an incentive program called the Performance Club. Just by going out and protecting 3 to 4 families per month, you have an opportunity to earn up to a $500 cash bonus on top of your commissions and overrides every single month. And if you're doing that, a little bit more work, and you're probably qualifying for one of our all expense paid trips to some exotic location. I mean, flight and hotel paid for you and a guest. And we do this every single year. I just want to give you a snapshot of year one as a Legal Shield associate. If you were to go out and just sell 3 memberships, let's say you go manager and you just went out and sold 3 memberships, you'd be earning $396. But with the Performance Club check of $200 in year one, you'd be making $600 a month just protecting 3 families. I think that's something that everybody can do. Now, I only ask, what would you do with an extra $600 a single month? I've looked, and when you compare this to rideshare and delivery drivers, they'd have to drive about 30 hours to generate this kind of revenue. What is your time worth to you? Now, I've gone through and I've talked about what we do for individuals and families. I've alluded to the fact that we have a small business and employee group benefit division, but we also recognize that there's certain niche legal needs inside the community. So we have a very comprehensive commercial driver's legal plan that you can add on as an employee benefit or sell direct to commercial drivers. We also have legal add-ons for your legal and identity theft plan. One is a gun owner supplement. We have a home business supplement that you can add to your legal plan. So we really do touch 100% of the community. Now, I've gone through these 5 areas, but the last one I really want to touch on is timing. Because even though we've been around for over 54 years, we still maintain less than 3% market penetration. What does that mean? That means that 97% of the people outside your door don't have Legal Shield or have never even heard of it. And the only place they're going to get it from is you. So I would encourage you is that as you're trying to determine as to whether or not you're going to become a member, think about becoming an associate as well. One thing is that we wrap this around your existing life. So we're not trying to interfere with anything else you have going on. And you can build your business from anywhere. I travel the world frequently, and I always have my laptop and my cell phone so I can conduct business from wherever I'm at in the world. I'm excited to say this is an asset that you're going to build and compound over a period of time. So you can will this down to your children or your grandchildren. But you might be looking at this saying, well, Chris, I've never done anything like this before. And I can appreciate that because I had never done anything like this before. Well, we have it's about a 3-hour fast start training class that will familiarize you with all the tools and systems that we have to help you get to whatever level of success you're looking for. But you're not going at this alone. You're going to get ongoing weekly training through your team, through the company, through your region, and aligned with personal mentors to help you along the way. Now, unlike the insurance industry, there's no licensing fee, but we do have a registration fee. That's a once in a lifetime fee of only $99 to start your Legal Shield business. And that's going to give you access to our Legal Shield Advantage Plus subscription, which is basically your virtual toolbox. That's your website, your customer relationship management tool, your marketing collateral, which would typically cost companies hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a month. We provide it to our associates for only $24.95 a month, and we're going to give it to you for your first month for free. Now, get back to the person that invited you to take a look at this video. It only takes a few minutes to get enrolled. You may have some questions though. The person that invited you to take a look at this may put you on the phone with an expert to be able to answer those questions. But get started. It is as simple as 1, 2, 3. Really, enroll as a member, become an associate, and let's get out and take advantage of those opportunities to get paid daily. I really appreciate you taking the time to evaluate Legal Shield. Please get back to the person that invited you to take a look at this information and let me be the first one to welcome you to Legal Shield. This is Chris Ward from Golden, Colorado, signing off.